Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Patriots Report. My name is Christopher Price, the Boston Globe and bostonglobe.com, joined as always by my podcast partner, Chris Hogan. Chris, good morning. It's good to see you again.
Good morning. Yeah, we're back. It's good
We
to
are
see you
back.
again. Yeah.
We are back. And there's cautious optimism in New England after six training camp practices, especially around
Us
Steph Diggs. I don't know how
feels
much you've
like
seen
feels
at
like
this point.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know how much you've seen at this point, but he has looked, I've seen all six practices. I've seen every
Mhm.
snap. I've logged every single snap like we used to do last year with the quarterback stats and
Mhm.
the one-on-one stats. We're doing that with Steph Diggs this year. He had two touchdown catches yesterday, one in the high red zone. He is running, he is cutting, he is moving without an issue. And for all the world, so far, he's looked like the number one wide receiver that they've been lacking over the last couple of years. What's your take here in the early going?
Yeah, I mean, I think expectations are blown away, right? I mean, I think that I didn't expect him. I thought he was going to start on PUP in the start of the training camp. I didn't think that he was going to be out here. I've watched the film or I've watched the videos of him. I've seen him in drills. I've seen him running routes. I mean, God, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna, knock on every piece of wood here that is around us, but I mean, people have to be, really, really optimistic about what he's done. It seems like everyone that the young guys are responding to him. That room is really enjoying having him in the room. I know that we kind of talked on the phone a little bit, a week or two ago. Pop was out there, talking about, he tells you, he doesn't tell you what you need or what you need to hear. He tells you, or he doesn't tell you what you want to hear. He tells you what you need to hear, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
a leader, man, right? I don't know if he's going to be a captain, certainly looking like he might be one of the captains this year. And he's taken on that role. And I think that it seems like he's got a lot of energy. Like, listen, man, and you and I both know, like, and you said it early from the beginning, cautious optimism. We both know how this season could go. But listen, who for all intent purposes, right now on July, what is it, July 30th?
Mm-hmm.
This kid is looking like he's gonna blow my over under and yards and catches out off the roof. So really, I'm really happy for him, man. I mean, that's a tough injury to come back from, especially at that position. And again, where no one's talking about the boat. No one's talking about that right now. They're talking about, dang, yeah, Stefon Diggs has been putting in the time, the effort, and the work to get back to where he's been at. And nobody knows how hard, a lot of people know how hard that is to come back from an injury. Um, and it's impressive. It really is. So I hope that he just continues and it just kind of, we're only in July 30th, right? I mean, we need to just keep going like this. So I hopefully him and Josh are meshing and him and Drake are meshing and the whole offense will continue to kind of build off of. Seems like he just has a lot of energy about him, man. It's great.
There are some animated conversations from time to time between Drake and Diggs and Josh McDaniels and Diggs, but so far,
But that's good.
again, yeah, I mean
It's
that's what you want to
communication,
see. Yeah,
right? How
yeah,
many times do we see Julian and Tom button heads on the sideline? How many
yeah.
times do we see Julian and Josh yelling at each other on like Steph? Here's the thing with Stefan. He's not just some young kid, third year player, rookie. Kid knows football. So he knows how to play the game. So yeah, if Josh tells him one thing, like I can't imagine that hopefully he's doing it in a constructive way and it's
Mhm.
not just we're not just like biting each other's heads off in July because we could do that maybe in December and
There you
January.
go.
But like, yeah, man, make it constructive. Advocate for yourself. If you think something might look a different way, or this is a different, maybe it looks better this way, or maybe I did it this way in the past. I think that he has the background and the resume to say, hey, Josh, I kind of like doing it this way. Now, listen, I know Josh, and Josh is going to be like, no, you're going to do it my way. But like, doesn't matter, man. That's just it's communication, and I think it's gonna again. That's one of those things that's gonna help Drake. I don't think that maybe we were missing some of that, where
Hmm.
he actually gets to talk through routes. It's only gonna help with their timing and their relationship, and that whole quarterback receiver relationship is just so important. I know that, and a lot of people know that, and I think that's I love that's great to see. It is. It really is.
The problem is that people will default, given Diggs's past, people will default to, oh, something's wrong.
Sure, they will. And you know
Because
what?
that's always been the first step in, oh my God, he's,
Uh,
something's wrong.
and guess what? There might be some of that this year, and there might be a little bit of his frustration coming out. That's on him though, right? That's a Stefon thing, and he's going to have to work through that. If he knows that he's dealing with a young quarterback and a new team, and he's going to have to mature in that way and just stay consistent of being that leader. And yes, listen, football can be frustrating, and and you should be able to voice your frustrations, but do it in a way that does. It's not like the wheels come off, right? Just do it in a way where it's like, okay, cool. Like, I know you're frustrated. How can we fix it? How can we get past it? What do we need to do to get better? And if you're taking those steps, I think that's okay, right? Let everyone say what they're going to say, but at the end of the day, the Patriots, Stefon, Josh, Drake, they know what's going on in the locker room. They don't worry about the outside stuff. Everyone's gonna have their own perceptions of whatever, animated conversations they're having on the sideline. They could just be telling a funny story, as far as we know. So maybe that's what we run with. Maybe ask Stefon if it was, what kind of story they were talking about if they see each other drawing at each other's heads.
One of the things that strikes me, and it's a relatively minor thing, but when you consider all of the other parts of the conversation around Diggs, I think this is important. Every single time they break the huddle and he's in the huddle, there is no hesitation as to where he needs to go,
Smart,
where
man.
he needs to line up. I've seen rookies and I've seen first-time guys in the Patriots system under McDaniels have to be guided after the snap to know you need to be over here as opposed to over here. Or there's a problem getting in and out of the huddle and things are slowed down. There is none of that with Diggs. He knows exactly where he needs to be when he needs to be there. Now, that's just a sign probably a lot, really, when you consider the fact, again, he's been in the league, 10 years, 11 years. He's a professional. He knows his business. But it stands in stark contrast to some guys who have come to New England before, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't been able to stick. I bring this up just as a cheap excuse to remind people that Chad Ochocinco, when he came to New England, that happened on a number of occasions in spring and summer practices. But if you could kind of talk on that, the importance of that little thing when it comes to getting acclimated to the offense, seeing a veteran guy who comes in who knows exactly what he needs to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it just goes to the credit of his football IQ. The guy's he's no dummy. I think he knows football. I've heard him speak about football before. He clearly knows what he's doing on the field. He knows how to read coverages, and I think that's just carrying on into this offense, as hard as it can be to understand and to digest, and then to go out in a field and do it at full speed. Yeah, it definitely takes some time, but if he's doing that here's where my mind goes. He put in the time this offseason. He got in the playbook. He read the playbook. He went over it. He knows where to go. And guess what? He's not just a X receiver. Stefon's going to be all over the field. So now he knows all 3, 4, whatever it is, 4 positions to be on the field, and being able to get out of the huddle, get lined up fast. That to me is, again, another, it's just another way of him being a leader. If you're a young guy and you're seeing Stefon, who's never been in this offense before, and you got a 10-year vet that's studying the playbook and knowing what to do and getting lined up fast and is always in the right spot. Well, yeah, if I'm a young guy, I'm looking at that saying, okay, if Stefon's doing it, like, I need to be doing it, right? And I shouldn't be making any mistakes. If it was the vice versa, then it sends the wrong message. So he's sending all the right messages to this offense, to this young group of receivers, and then just to everyone that's tuning in. I'm wondering when Stefon Diggs is gonna lose, go off the reservation. But I don't see it right now. I see a kid that's pretty locked in. I see a kid that's focused, coming back from an injury, new offense, new team. And it seems like he's got some life and some energy about him. So again, it's like one of those things where you just want to see it kind of just continue to ascend. And it's great. I love watching it, and I'm happy to see it. And I hope that he just continues to grow and to help this team.
Couple more wide receivers notes. I think that, we talked about how Diggs had a pair of touchdown catches yesterday. I think Pop Douglas had the best catch at camp. He caught a deep ball from Drake a couple of days ago, and it's clear that he is poised to really emerge this year. I think, and look, I know it's early on, but I think one of the things that we kind of take for granted, and this is kind of related to Diggs, and is the fact that he no longer has to masquerade as a number one wide receiver.
Yep.
He can thrive because the bulk of the attention is going to be going to Diggs. The other thing too, and look, we've discussed this, and I think it's really important. I wrote about this the other day at Boston Globe. The fact that if he is a slot receiver in a Josh McDaniels offense, it's on him in a lot of ways, because you look at the history of slot receivers with Josh, and they're going to get paid, they're going to eat, they're going to get their catches. And really, if in my mind, it's all about Pop at this point in his development. If he can take on an added workload, and I think he's done very well, at least here through the early days of camp, I think it's setting up to be a very good year for him.
Yeah, I mean, I could have, if I had to guess who was going to be the most successful in this offense, it would be Pop. I mean, we all wanted him to grow. I think it was just tough over the last couple of years, but he stayed with it. He stayed positive. Probably didn't have the year that he wanted to, but listen, you're in an offense now that the ball's going to be in. It's going to snap and out. Dre not going to be wasting time with the ball in his hands. I know. And as a slot receiver, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. I mean, you've covered it for years. You saw Tom. I mean, guy probably held onto the ball for, 2-3 seconds at most, right? Julian gets open, ball, right? Move the chains. Why? Like, we don't need to wait for stuff to get open down the field if something's open right in front of you. So there's going to be opportunities for both of them to take some shots down the field. But I think that the bulk of their work is going to be in between the hash marks. And that's an important role. It's going to be an important role for the tight ends. And then it's going to be important for those guys that are going to be on the outside to, when the shots come, to be able to hit them. Probably something that they're going to be working on, those those big yardage, game-changing plays, chunk plays, right? Like, those are the stats, the hidden yardage that you're gonna be able to see after games. How many chunk plays did we get, right? All the other stuff for in between first and fourth down, like, we're just moving the chains, man. Positive plays, and that's I know Josh was preaching that. I can tell you right now that his message to this team, probably from day one, is like positive plays, right? Run play, pass play action, screen, doesn't matter. Do your job, right? We're going to bring that back a little bit this year because we got a guy who's been a part of that, right? Do your job, get a positive play, and let's move on, right? Let's get into 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. Okay, let's make it 3rd and short. We had so many times last year where freaking beating our heads against the wall, 3rd and long, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, because of stupid penalties and then just not positive plays. So I think that's going to be a big time message for him. And it should be the focus of this offense, is just to continue to positive plays. And that'll be, if we're able to do that this year, move the football, which, we didn't really have a problem with. We just kind of hit ourselves in the Achilles heel here a little bit, last couple of years, with some dumb plays and some penalties and some errors. And if we can kind of get rid of some of those, it'll be interesting to watch this offense with Josh.
Off-season award winner too. I should have said that. Pop Douglas, one of the 4 off-season award winners. So that certainly bodes well going into the new season. By the way, I think the new phrase is not "do your job," but I've heard this 3 times from guys. Pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that fits on a sweatshirt, but pressure is a privilege seems like it's one of the new talking points this year in Foxborough. I think that comes with the level of increased expectations. I heard Christian Gonzalez say that. I heard a couple other guys say that.
That's definitely, that's a Mike Vrabel thing right there. I'm sure he'll coin that one. But yeah, listen, I've heard that before. But it is. I mean, being in the NFL is a privilege, and being able to be counted on and to be one of those 11 guys on offense or defense for whenever your number is called, that pressure, like, you've earned it to be out there. So now, that is a privilege to be counted on and to want to be able to do your job and help this team win football games, for sure. I love that.
Speaking of pressure, the guys at the back end of the wide receiver depth chart, I think, understand, are starting to really grasp the pressure that they are under, specifically Ja'Lynn Polk and Javon Baker. I think Baker has had a couple of really good catches. I don't know. I can't get too far into the weeds in terms of how he's done, but he's been running with the twos. Polk is a really interesting guy. Now, we've covered him a lot from stem to stern last year, but
Yeah.
sat out the first 4 practices.
Yeah.
Wasn't involved in the first 4 practices. Came out to fifth practice, was very feisty, uncharacteristically feisty, getting in guys' faces, getting in defensive back faces. And get this, you'll love this, returning punts.
Good.
Returning
Right.
punts. And I think that bodes, that practice, that initial practice bodes well for his chances, at least a little better than maybe what we thought at the start of training camp. I want to see more of that from him. I want to see a little bit more feistiness. I want to see a little bit more attitude. I want to see him getting in there, blocking on safeties,
Yeah, man.
getting down the field, getting in guys' faces. I want to see all that. And I want to see the special team stuff.
Make sure, it's gotta matter to them. They got and everyone you're always being evaluated. Every single step, every single snap, for the amount of hours that you're there during training camp, you're being evaluated on every single thing that you do. How you walk, how you show up in meetings, how you walk from the practice field to here, how you're doing the training room, how you are in the weight room, how you are interacting with your team. I'm telling you, man, they are evaluating every single little detail. And those guys specifically, we're not operating underneath this world where they're a second round draft pick and they're going to be on this team, right? No, not anymore. Now we're saying, okay, which one of these guys or which one of those bottom, those 5, 6, 7, right? Those guys. All right, well, who contributes on special teams? Who's a guy that knows what he's doing? Who's a versatile guy? Who's can play multiple positions? That's going to be the guy that's going to get that spot. Whether it's on the roster or even it's on the practice squad, that guy's going to have to be able to do multiple things. He's not just going to be a guy. They're not 1, 2s, or 3s anymore. They're not. Listen, they certainly can get back to that point, but yeah, I mean, I think this stuff's got to matter to them, man. And you got to come out like every single day is going to be a fight. You really do. I mean, the competition is high in that room. There's a bunch of guys that can be on this roster come, week 1. And if you're not approaching it every single day, like this is your job is on the line, then that's going to be tough for them. So yeah, I love to hear that. I love that they're doing special teams. I know that Baker was involved in special teams last year, so I hope that he's continuing to do so. And then again, man, the more you can do. That's my message to these guys. Always is. Anytime I talk to a young kid that's going into training camp, the more you can do, man. If you're not a 1 or a 2, then you should do a lot of things really, really well, and you should ask to do more. I don't care what position it is. I don't care if you're on the scout team playing safety or corner or linebacker or frick. I mean, if you're rushing Will Campbell on the edge rusher here in the scout team, like the more you can do, man. And people see that. They do. I'm telling you, they see it. They notice it. And if your energy and your attitude is good, you're giving yourself a chance. That's the message there.
You've talked a number of times about just being a problem, like being a problem in a good way, where they they can't get rid of you. They're going to sit. The coaches are going to sit and watch film, and just like he keeps showing up, he keeps stacking days, and I think we're trending in that direction. This is the last wide receiver question I have. We're trending in that direction with our guy Efton Chisholm. I remember talking to you and saying he can't afford to have a bad day.
Yep.
When you're a UDFA and you're fighting for that last spot in the depth chart, you can't afford to drop.
Doesn't exist, man. Can't do it.
You can't. Yeah.
Can't, because guess what? They're going to come in. They're going to sit in their team meeting room. All the coaches, the staff, the scouts, and it's going to be one of two things. All right, Efton had a really good day again today. Like, this kid's a problem, or he's had bad days, right? And then they're gonna stop talking about you. Right. When I was younger coming up and specifically in Buffalo, I was going against Stefon Diggs. I was going against, the 1s and the 2 cornerbacks, and I was a problem for them every single day, man. And that's made sure that I made every opportunity count, catch a ball, finish it for 30, 40 yards. Like, who gives a shit? Like, be that guy, right? Be that guy. Like, oh, why is he doing that? Well, because he's trying to make a damn football team. And if he doesn't, like, who knows what happens? So like, be that guy. You're Baker, Polk. You got a chance to go against Christian Gonzalez, and I keep forgetting who's the other kid on the opposite of Christian that
Carlton Davis.
Carl Davis.
Carlton
Right?
Davis.
Carlton Davis. You
Yeah.
got Carlton Davis lined up against you. Dude, this is live bullets. Like, give him every single thing that you got. You catch a patch on him, finish it. Right? He tries to put his shoulder down into you, put yours down into him. Right? Make sure it's known that you're trying to do whatever you can to win a job and to be on this football team.
We are recording this on the morning of Wednesday, July 30th, and we're going to hear from Ja'Lynn Polk, or we're scheduled to hear from Ja'Lynn Polk after practice today. A couple of quick practice notes. Garrett Bradbury, Morgan Moses, and Yasir Durant, 3 offensive linemen, could not finish practice yesterday. We did not see Christian Gonzalez back on the field Tuesday after he walked off Monday. There's a report out there that it was a hamstring, but I guess all of these questions, all of these things are kind of leading to my next question. What's the secret to getting through camp at this time? I know the first couple of practices, everyone's coming out, everyone's going hard. This second week, you kind of start to see some drop off a little bit, especially with the heat. It was close to 100 degrees here yesterday. I know practice was, it's not like the old days. Practice was like just over an hour, but still, it was a really rough day, and they were rotating guys through consistently because of the heat. What's the secret to getting through this? Is it pacing yourself? Is it getting in the hot tub, getting in the cold tub? What's the goal here for a player at this time of year?
I mean, listen, I think there's a couple of different ways to approach this depending on where you fall on this roster, right? If you're a guy like me, it is full throttle from day one until the last day of training camp, and then guess what? You're hitting the NOS after that because it doesn't stop. So if you're a guy that's okay, you're going to be on the 53. We know you're one of these guys. Again, like, new team, new offense, new defense, new play. Listen, man, it's got to be pedal to the metal. And you just have to understand you're in training camp. There is nothing to do. There's nothing to do afterwards. You're not going home to your family. You're not going, like, stay in, get extra treatment, get as much treatment as humanly possible after practice, before practice, after lunch, in your little downtime. Like, don't take any of those hour or 30 minutes, whatever it is. Don't take that for granted. Like, use it effectively, use it wisely. If you're watching extra film, do that. If you need to get treatment and watch extra film while you're doing it, do that. Like, listen, taking care of your body right now is the most important part, right? Because you're doing day after day after day. But like, listen, it's the same thing in the season, right? Like, training camp is not as really that much harder now than it is really into the season. Like, you're going to have a little bit more rest during the season because there's, less guys and they have to kind of do that. But like right now, dude, like, it's pedal to the metal. And just take care of your bodies and just do whatever you can. Whatever is your process and whatever your routine is, then you should be sticking to that routine. Find what works for you. However you need to get yourself going in the morning, whatever practice is, like, make sure you're out there. There can't be slow starts. Like, it's a mindset thing. It's got to be a mindset thing, right? Regardless of how tired you are, understand that you're being evaluated and this is your job. Right. Listen, I know it was hot yesterday, but the coaching staffs are not, they're not idiots. They took care of them. They're out there for a short amount of time, and that's great. Listen, that was an anomaly in Boston to have 100+ day heat, right? It's not typically always like that. Today's going to be equally as hot, and tomorrow, start to cool off a little bit. So take advantage of those cooler days. But I think I was always one of those guys that was just, it's got to be full throttle in every single thing that you do. And like, you'll get some days here and there. Your off days should be filled with just treatment and making sure that you're getting rest and really taking care of yourself. And then when you come back, it's full throttle, pedal to the metal, man. There's a lot of expectations for this team, this offense, this defense, Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, Drake. I mean, you can go up and down the list for the expectations that are for the guys that are on this team. And you see Mike out there. I mean, guys, freaking looks like I'm at the next video. I'm expecting him to have pads on.
I wonder if he's ever written a check that his body couldn't cash. Like if he's woken up the next morning and been like, oh
I'm telling you
man,
right now, he's definitely feeling it. Said some of these reps that he's doing, but dude cares. You see your head coach is mixing it up. Who was I watching? He was doing like I think they were probably doing like special teams drills. He was doing it with what's his name? The
Spillane.
Blaine.
Spillane
Yeah,
clocked him.
I was watching that video, man, and I mean, you gotta love that. You have to. I mean, you have to, man. I mean, this guy. Listen, Bill probably did this in his younger days, but Bill was also not 6'4", 250, and was a all-pro, linebacker, D end. And you got a guy that's out there that wants to do this because he just loves football. I mean, that's the type of energy that this team needs. I think it's great for this team. I love seeing that. I think it's going to be something that is going to help this team in the long run. And listen. Here's the great thing about having a player coach, right? He's been there before. He knows guess what? He knows at week 2 of training camp, he knows exactly what the vibe is and how the people's bodies are feeling and how these guys, the moods or how tired they are. So maybe he does something like his message to the team is like, hey man, I've been there before, but like we got work to do. Put in the work now, and then rest the rest of the day. And then like it's got to be just keep stringing them along. Like this is the expectations for this team are not just to go, 2-14 this year. Like we don't want to see that. And for them, the expectation is not 500. It's to go out there and win football games and be damn competitive. So it's all about mindset. I think he's got the right. I think we talked about this in the offseason about the guys that he was bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
Scrappy, good football players. Got a lot of energy that want to win, that are going to compete, and they're not just going to be those guys that roll it out there and be like, well, I'm too tired. Like, no, Robert Spillane's going to come out there and try to knock your head off if you're dogging it, on a route across the middle. These guys are going to go out there and do it. I think Stefon Diggs is one of those guys too, and the team just needs to be able to see that and build off of it. Those are the most important, man. Your studs are going to be they're the engine right now. Their energy is what the rest of the energy is going to be like for the entire team.
Robert Spillane is all energy. The
Yeah,
guy goes hard, man. He hits the top step of the practice on the way up to the practice field. Yesterday, he had a red sweatshirt on underneath, full pads, black gloves, and he just makes a beeline for the middle. He's like one of the first guys on the field, and he's slapping 5 with fans, and he is going to be a huge fan favorite this year. He's going to have the green dot on the helmet, but he's going to be a huge fan favorite this year. Look, setting up the rest of the week. Like I said, it's Wednesday. They have another practice they practice today. They have practice tomorrow. They have the in-stadium practice Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday are off. So they can kind of pull back a little bit on Saturday and Sunday and then get back after it next week with game prep for the Washington game, the first preseason game. They're going to have joint practices with the Commanders, then that first game the first week of August. I'm curious, in your experience, when it comes to training camp, we talked about training camp experiences a little bit last summer, but what's the one thing that you needed that you couldn't live without when it came to training camp? Either a physical thing, whatever, picture the family on the bedside, what was the one thing that you had to have when it came to training camp?
I mean, in my younger years, right? We used to go to Buffalo. Well, in Buffalo, we were at St. John Fisher, and I quickly learned after my first training camp experience that a bed was going to be the most crucial thing that I could get, right? So first year that I was there, I was sleeping on the twin, pretty much a piece of cardboard that was there, right? And then I'm like seeing all these guys
in a dorm, right?
You're in a dorm. We're in dorms, right? And then I get there, obviously I'm there early, and then all of a sudden everyone starts coming in. All of a sudden you see all these moving trucks come in. They start rolling in these beds and TVs. I'm like, shoot, I'm doing this. I got to figure this out. So the next couple of years, the bed was the most important thing. In New England, it was a little different because we were at the hotel, so I never used the bed. But I always had every single. For me, I was always doing something to take care of my body. So whether it was foam rollers, lacrosse balls, so right. Things I'd slept in a hyperbaric chamber one year for literally every single day of training camp when I was in Buffalo. I had a buddy of mine that played for the Giants, and then he retired, and so I got that from him. So I literally had a hyperbaric chamber in my like. I'm all about like it wasn't a TV, it wasn't an Xbox, it wasn't any of that because like there's a million of them, wherever you went, you can go play games with anybody, but like, I was never a big gamer. For me, it was always about trying to make a football team, man. Like that was the most important thing for me. So it was all about recovery. It was all about, taking care of myself and making sure that I had, obviously I had some snacks, right? I always had, a couple sweets or something like
What's the
that I
go-to? What's the go-to?
it was like for me, it was always Reese's. Reese's were my favorite,
Yes. I
so
know there's a reason why we got along so well.
so I always had some candy and during the off days I used to always stock up on sunflower seeds for those meetings. I always have carrying around and always water and whatever it was, right? I had all my supplements, like those things to make sure that I kind of stuck to my routine and was able to do it as best I can. If I was in a dorm room or a hotel, like it didn't matter, man. So there was always, it was a bed early on, and then it became all about the recovery and taking care of my body.
One of the rookies said that Morgan Moses has a red light sauna. And he said, "Look, I'm not there yet financially, but God willing, one day, I'll be able to afford a red light sauna. So maybe that's the key.
Great.
This
There you
when
go.
you
I'm telling you, right? Take care of your body, man.
hey
He
guys,
knows.
34, he's still in the league.
Yeah,
So
he
he's got to be doing
knows.
something right.
Yeah, he knows.
He's one of
Great.
those guys who, again, we're going to be looking for out on the practice field the next couple of days. And again, you talk about how to handle training camp. The coaching staff is going to handle Morgan Moses differently than they're going to handle Yasir Durant, given their
Yep.
respective times in the league. Everyone has a training camp story, funny, weird, oddball roommate, whatever the case may be. What is your favorite training camp memory? And I know this is also something else we've discussed. I know this is the time of year you miss it the most.
Yeah.
I have to imagine. This is
I was
just
out. Hey, I was out there on the field running sprints yesterday in the 105-degree heat because I needed to, on the turf. I wanted to feel it. I wanted to feel that. So, it's like it's weird. You think about training camp and I can smell the grass in the morning for the heat, and I can take myself back to those moments. So yeah, this is, training camp as stressful as it was for me always, because I always felt like my job was always on the line. And for the most of my career, it was, every single day was a fight, and knowing that this could be the last, that was always very stressful for me. So it's a stressful time. Training camp, the stories that I have. I mean, being in New England and getting the whole spiel about not fighting from Bill on day one of training camp and then going out and seeing Julian get thrown out of training camp. I will tell you this, to this day, I will rest my hat on that he just didn't want to be out there because it was too hot. So he just decided to fight. It was Steph's first year and he just went right. I mean, it could have been the first play at 11 on 11. He just, I think right off the line, they got in a fist fight.
the rumor about that
What?
we never were able to confirm. Was it we could never confirm this, was that he went right after Steph Gilmore because of Steph Gilmore's new contract. And he was yapping at
I
Steph
will
about
I
his
will
new
not
deal.
confirm nor deny that story. But Jules, man, the kid was trying. He'd fight your mother if she lined up out there over him. Like, he was one of those guys that you love to be in training camp with because it was his energy and his tenacity that was contagious. Yeah, you know what? The training camp stories, and again, like you said, I miss training camp the most. Being around the guys 24/7, seeing the rookies get up there and do their little spiel, singing a song, or telling a funny joke, or doing a skit, and watching all that, and you're building on this is you're gonna be with these guys for the next 5 months or whatever it is, but this time that you get is just invaluable. To be around these guys, kind of create this camaraderie and kind of establish what type of team that you're going to be able to be this year. It's important, and it shouldn't be taken lightly, and everyone on this team should really take advantage of the time that they have, with the coaching staff, with the players, with the training staff. I mean, it's that everyone's involved in this thing. Everyone is. Don't be that guy that just kind of goes into your locker and, you know, gets on the phone and plays Candy Crush all day long. Like, there's plenty of time for that. There's plenty, be the guy that's going out there and, whether you're playing that, playing cards or watching extra film or just hanging out, like, be that guy. Take the time, man. Get to know your teammates so that you get into a season, you're really out there. Now you're not just fighting for yourself. You're out there really playing for each other, and I think that's going to be important for this team this year.
Chris Hogan, thank you very much for your time, my friend. Take care, and we will talk again next week.
Can't wait. Back.
Love it. Love it. And we're going to have a big announcement too. We can tease a big announcement that's coming next week, not just for us, but for the entire Believe Network. So we're very, very excited to pass that along to you guys as well.
Love it. Can't wait.